Are Stargates real? And if so, can they be replicated? Could someone be trying to open a Stargate right now? I don't know, and you'll never be able to stop me from speculating. In the Stargate movie and the TV shows, all of which were heavily funded by the United States military, Ra, the ancient Egyptian god of the sun, is portrayed as an alien being who came to Earth during the ancient Egyptian period to possess human bodies. In order to extend his already extremely long life, Ra enslaved millions of human beings and transported many others to a distant planet in order to mine precious metals for alien technologies. After humanity revolts and runs Ra's overseers off of Earth, they bury the Stargate in the sands of Egypt to prevent its further use. Thousands of years later, in 1924, the Stargate is excavated by British archaeologist Paul Langford in Giza. In real life in the 1920s, British archaeologist Sir Leonard Woolley led the excavation of the ziggurat, the Great Ziggurat of Ur in modern-day Iraq. The ziggurat was a massive, towering structure with a temple at its peak. And doesn't it just look like the perfect place for a Stargate right at the top there? Now, full disclosure, I had a very hard time finding the source of this photograph, but apparently, this was found during the excavation of the ziggurat. The ziggurat was uncovered in modern-day Iraq, and as you know, the USA invaded Iraq under the pretense of weapons of mass destruction, and I think a Stargate could probably be considered a weapon of mass destruction. Interestingly enough, Iraq's president at the time, dictator Saddam Hussein, literally believed he was the reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar, an ancient Babylonian king. In 1985, Saddam Hussein ordered the rebuilding and restoration of Babylonian and Sumerian ruins in the area, even having his name inscribed on some of the bricks as the son of Nebuchadnezzar. So, what does this have to do with Stargates? Well, one of the things Nebuchadnezzar was super fired up about was invading Jerusalem. He had this fiery pit thing, and he wanted to know what it did. So he invaded Jerusalem, kidnapped some wise men from the Temple of Solomon, and made them enter the fiery pit. The wise men entered the fiery pit and disappeared, but they came back. And they brought a visitor, apparently from another world or dimension. The theory is that this visitor was an Anunnaki, and that this fiery pit was an ancient Stargate, a dark planet past Neptune, also known as Planet X. Oddly enough, the Anunnaki are often portrayed as humanoids with bird heads, just like Ra. The city of Ur, where the ziggurat was found, lines up perfectly with the Orion's Belt constellation. CERN, which was turned back on April 25th during a planetary alignment, also lines up with the Orion constellation, but I'm sure that's just a big coincidence. Could CERN be a modern human-built Stargate? I don't know, but here's the logo for Project Alice, an official CERN experiment.